Today on the Trent Out Loud Podcast. Jack Harlow, yo, boo. He looks like he was going to prom. Like, it's the Met Gala. What up? It's your boy Trent Out Loud, and I'm back with another episode. All right, it's Tuesday morning. We just came off of a crazy Monday with all the Drake and Kendrick feud stuff. Beef stuff feud, whatever you want to call it. This show is not going to have a lot of Drake and Kendrick. I have two little stories and speed stories, but I am off of that, ready to move on. I don't know how you guys are feeling, but I'm down to put it to bed. But we'll talk about it. All right, I got two lead stories for you today. Actually, sorry, I lied. I do have a story about Drake in lead stories, but I will make it quick. There was a video that surfaced, and anyways, I got to tell you about it. Anyways, I got two lead stories. We're going to talk about the Met Gala, and then we're going to talk about a 17-year-old that comes to Drake's defense, actually. Then we're going to jump into quick news. We're going to talk about Charlamagne the God, Donald Trump, Joe Budden, and Joe Budden. Again, that's a little bit of Drake and Kendrick again. It's the after effect day, okay? It's the day after the big battle. And then we're going to jump into speed news. We're going to talk about JT, French Montana, Plies, Game, and Druski. And then, of course, we got to end off the show with sports news, and we're going to talk about the NBA. All right, y'all know what time it is. Turn your TVs, devices, or your radios up. I'm about to start this show. Let's go. All right, so the 2024 Met Gala was yesterday. I don't know how much you guys are concerned with that, but our favorite celebs popped out. I'm going to give a quick review of some of their outfits. The theme was like garden flower stuff, so there was a couple of like garden and questionable outfits. But keep in mind when you guys do see these pictures online, like this is the height of fashion. And fashion is supposed to be artistic and pushing the boundaries, right? This is the catwalk, not the fashion that's in the store. So the celebs and the designers do have to show out. So for me, no particular order, but Tiana Taylor, to me, was one of my favorite. Her dress looked like a rose. It was kind of like rose coming from the concrete. It was super dope. Had a couple of little like blood drips from it, but like very tasteful. She looked really nice. Blonde hair, makeup, everything was amazing. You know, I'm a big Tiana Taylor fan. By the way, for those of you who want to see all these images, just go to my YouTube channel. I'll be putting up the images right beside me as I speak to them. Go to my YouTube channel, or I'll put some of them also to my Instagram, but to see all of them, go to my YouTube channel at Trent Out Loud. All right, so that was Tiana Taylor. My second favorite was really dope was Doja Cat. And sometimes some of these artists come out with celebs, not artists. They come up with two outfits, like one out of the hotel and then on the actual red carpet of the Met Gala. So Doja Cat came out in a towel. She had a towel on her head and then a towel around her. Looking fly, but just simple, dope, like a towel. So we're like, okay, she's just kind of like poking fun at it. But then she shows up on the actual red carpet in a full out, like a long tee. Actually, what I talk about in my book, How I Started My Business Back in the Day, long tees and do-rags. So she went out probably like to Canal Street, and well, it's probably actually made for her, but back in the day, long tee. So just a plain white long tee reached down to her ankles. And it was a wet look, so like a wet t-shirt contest. So you saw everything that was underneath the wet white t-shirt. And to match with the theme, she's like, I want to use the most popular flower in the world, and it's cotton. So yeah, I thought it was really dope. She looked great. Body was banging. Yeah, Tiana Taylor's body was banging. Oh, I forgot to mention that. But Doja Cat looked really dope. And she said the secret to making her shirt look wet, for those of you who do want to know, was actually hair gel. So it wasn't actually water to make it look wet. Well, of course, water probably started it, but then it was hair gel that kept it looking that way. All right, so that was Doja Cat. All right, so now those are my top two. Okay, so let me just go into like what I have here screenshotted. Sarah Jessica Parker, shout out to Sarah Jessica Parker. I don't know if I ever told you guys, but I'm actually a fan of Sex and the City. I know a lot of guys won't admit to that, but it was a good show. So I was a fan of Sarah Jessica Parker. I don't want to be mean. I'm not even talking about her outfit. I was just so shocked of like how old she looks. I know it's not nice to say, but yo, she just looks like, yeah, she looks, sorry, shout out to Sarah Jessica Parker. She still looks beautiful, but I was shocked at how old she looks. But then on the other side, when celebs do a bunch of like work and they got all this plastic surgery, we're like, wow, they don't look natural anymore. Trust me, Sarah Jessica Parker has had no work done. All right, sorry if I'm being mean to you, Sarah. Coleman Domingo, who's a big actor here. I know he's not famous, but I think he was really just nominated. I can't remember the movie he was nominated for, but for Academy Awards. So he's big this year. He looked dope. He's probably one of my favorite male outfits. Big, baggy, like dress pants. It looked pretty dope. Again, you can't wear your typical suit. You got to be fashion. So he looked good. Ben Simmons, he had, I don't really understand, his costume kind of looked like more like Scottish, and he had this suitcase with this clock on it. He looked all right. Gayle King, shout out to Gayle. I thought Gayle looked good, but I just don't think it was out there enough. I don't think it was forward enough. It was kind of like a gown where it looked like she was maybe like going to the Oscars, but whatever. Shout out to Gayle. Zendaya is my girl. You know how much I love Zendaya, Euphoria, all that, all her movies and everything. I kind of liked her outfit. I just didn't like the makeup and how like pale she looked and like that scary, the eye makeup. I'm sure there's probably more into it. Like, you know, if you go to like these fashion blogs, I'm sure they know like the story behind the dress, but I'm just going of just like, yo, you know, like I'm just me, just telling you what I think. So yeah, not overly impressed. Jennifer Lopez looked really dope. J-Lo looks like she's aging a little bit too, but more like fine wine. More Sarah Jessica Parker more kind of looks like aging like milk, looking sour. Sorry. Yeah. So, anyways, J-Lo looked dope. She looked dope. I really liked her dress. Lala, shout out to Lala Anthony. She looked really good. Again, I don't think her dress was forward enough for a Met Gala. Maybe I should describe these looks to you for the people who can't see it. Lala came out was all black, kind of like with this red bottom, but and this lace kind of top. It just looked more just normal. Jennifer Lopez, I think it was probably like diamond encrusted, but it was a little bit more elevated. It was still a gown, but more elevated. So she looked good. Who else? Kris Jenner and her boyfriend, Corey Gamble. They look good. All white, very baggy. Corey looked dope. Kris looked pretty good too. Again, it was not flamboyant, but also not like conservative enough to be on the Oscars. I feel like they kind of hit the nail on the head. And she had her flowers too, kind of fulfilling the theme of the garden theme. Jack Harlow, yo, boo, Jack Harlow. What is this? He had on just like gray tuxedo. Like he looks like he was going to prom. Like it's the Met Gala. His hair looks normal. Yeah, he has on, like I said, it's a tuxedo. You know how the lapel is shiny on the tuxedo. No tie, no nothing. Like, no, boo. He just looked normal. This is the Met Gala. You need to be out there. All right, I have a few left. Shout out to Angel Reese. Y'all know I'm a big Angel Reese fan. Loved her outfit. Fine. I found it was a little bit timid, not timid, but a little like not out there. You know, I think, like I've been saying, like your outfit needs to be a little bit more out there. I mean, she's a basketball player, not a real fashionista. But you know, you see her on Instagram, she's always fashion over or whatever. So she knows enough about fashion. I would have liked to see her be a little bit more out there, but she looked amazing. Kim Kardashian, like a middle thumbs up, thumbs down. She looked good. It was a little bit extra, but she had this like a corset where her waist is snatched and it looks like she cannot breathe and she cannot move. Like it just looks like super uncomfortable, a little unnatural, almost kind of like a mermaid. Wasn't overly feeling her. Lizzo, my girl, y'all know my girl is Lizzo. Don't really understand her outfit. Not all that great. But I give her points for being out there. It is the Met Gala. So she has this weird, funny thing on her head, this brown kind of costume. All right. Shout out to the Smiths, Jaden and Willow. You know they're going to never disappoint you in fashion. Like them or hate them or love them. You know they're never going to disappoint. Jaden Smith looks super dope. Okay, scratch that other guy that I told you that was dope, Coleman. Jaden looks super good. heavily baggy, like no shirt undone, vest undone, jacket undone. You see a little of his chest and his stomach, like no shirt on, looking masculine, baggy clothes. Like he just looks good. A black and white theme. I don't know where the flowers and the garden thing comes in. And Willow has like a black blazer on with stockings, and she has this head tie on. She looks like a beautiful like African princess from like Zamunda or something. Yeah, they look very like African, like they're from Zamunda. So yeah, shout out to the Smiths. Nicki Minaj took time off her world tour. She looked good, very flowery. She really stayed true to the theme. She looked good. It was a little too flowery, a little too colory for my use. Cardi B, shout out to Cardi B. Yo, Cardi B's dress was so huge. It took, I think, 10 guys to like lift up the dress and move it around. They had to like take a wide angle camera shot from the back. She looked, sorry, not from the back, but from the front. She looked good. I don't know why it was all black. It more looked like she was going to her funeral. She looked good. And then there's this one last girl. I don't remember her name, but she really like took the whole night by storm. And I kind of looked who she was, and she's like an author or something. And even Hypebeast was like, all right, before we go, let me just give you one last look. I'm going to try to find her name. Give me a second. Emily Ratajkowski. Sorry, I'm pronouncing your name completely wrong. She has 30 million followers, so I'm sure she's big out here. I just don't know who she is. Maybe she's a model or something, but she looks really good. Her Instagram is EMRATA for those of you who want to check her out. To me, she stole the day, man. She stole the night. She looked really, really, really good. And her outfit was with Versace. So that's my report of the Met Gala. Like I said, not big, huge fashion Met guy or anything like that. More music and entertainment, but it was the talk of last night. So I figured I had to cover it for you guys. For those of you, like I said, for those of you who want to see any videos or pictures of what I've just been talking about, go to my YouTube channel and check it out. Let me know what you think. Send me an email, trentoutloud@cfqr600.com. Comment underneath this YouTube video, or send me a DM. Let me know what you thought of the Met Gala, and let me know who you thought was your best dressed. All right, in our second lead story, woman who was on stage with Drake resurfaces from 2010 video, speaks out. It was nothing then and still nothing now. All right, I'm going to try to get through this quickly so that we're not hung up on more Drake and Kendrick battle, but I do have to let you guys know about this. So there was a video that was going around, I think Whack 100 put it out, with Drake on stage with a 17-year-old girl, and he kissed her on the cheek. And this is the video that people are like, oh my gosh, Drake is being a pedo, Drake is this or whatever, which is utterly ridiculous, because not a video backstage where nobody, like, it's him on stage and he has no clue that the girl is 17 years old. So anyways, I like that she put this out and she actually comes to Drake's defense. She puts this comment. She said, "This is purely for his stage act. I was 17 years old. I'm 31 now. It was nothing then and nothing now." Then she goes on to write, which is really, really good. I'll read it to you. She goes, "Regarding the video that's now going around, I was 17 years old back then, and now I'm 31. This was a concert that my dad took me to back in high school. Drake's entourage picked me out of the crowd," and she put in cap locks, "not Drake himself." Then she said in brackets, "By the way, performers always brings fans on stage in this part of their show." Okay, we all have seen Janet Jackson, Madonna. I think even Nicki Minaj does it. Janet is the worst. Google Janet Jackson bringing people on stage. She brings guys on stage. She lays them down. She kisses them, kisses their neck, grinds on them, dances on them. I've seen her grab guys midsection. Like, artists have been doing this for years and years, from the 80s and even the 70s. Okay, this is a thing that artists do. And most important, he didn't even pick her out. What she say was the words, Drake's entourage picked her out. Okay. So she goes on to say, it was nothing then and still nothing now. Now that this has been cleared, now that I have cleared up these false narratives, I'm going back to study for my law school exams, which wish me luck. So again, this narrative of people like, oh, well, he kissed the girl that she was on stage. Like, come on, man. Like this, like I said yesterday in the show, if you have proof of something actually happening, talk about it. Because I'm a big Drake fan. If I heard that he was actually doing something like that with a minor, I would not listen to his music anymore. I would cut him off. I would be like, hey, he was dope, but now that I know this, but don't bring up stuff of like him in front of 20,000 people when an artist is bringing up somebody on stage. He has no idea that she's 17 years old. Like, don't do that. And then also too, like what I talked about yesterday, there's a child actor that Drake knows that he's probably like mentoring her and being nice to her and texting her saying, hey, I saw your movie, really good, miss you, good luck, all that stuff. Like, he's 30 years old, but she's 15 years old, but there's nothing sexual there, So just stop it. Anyways, that's it with that story. Stop circulating this video. The girl said nothing ever happened. He never spoke with her, and it was over. And she even says this is a false narrative. So just stop it. All right, this brings us to quick news. Ring my bell. Charlamagne the God shares that he doesn't think Megan Thee Stallion is an arena artist yet. She's not an arena artist, maybe a theater artist. So the story reads, while discussing the ticket prices for Megan Thee Stallion's upcoming tour, it was questioned if her shows will be taking place in arenas. Charlamagne the God then shared he doesn't think that she's made it to arena status just yet. The Breakfast Club continued to examine what they think an arena tour artist catalog looks like, so on. I have a little clip. Here it is.
If she's doing arenas, she shouldn't be doing arenas.
Why you say that?
She's not an arena artist.
Okay, so the reason why this is a story, in case you guys are wondering, I didn't even have to go search. You just go right quickly in the comments. And somebody was saying, she has 15 sold out shows. And then somebody says a simple Google search would show that more than 90% of her arena tour is sold out. And they said this is just poor journalism and lazy reporting. Anyway, so I did a quick Google search and they are right. But in Charlamagne's defense, I don't think that it's not like he was trying to hate. And it's not like he was like, yo, Megan is not a good artist. It's that Jess just reported that, hey, some of her tickets are $24. And then Charlamagne was like, why would they be $24? And then he was like, oh, maybe they're $24 because they're not $24 because they're not selling out. And then he said, oh, okay, well, hold on. Where is she having her venues? Is she having it at arena tours? Oh, okay. Well, you know what? It's questionable. Maybe she's not an arena artist yet. She hasn't been around that long, blah, blah, blah. Arena tours are more set up for like the Usher and Nicki Minaj, which you cannot argue that Megan Thee Stallion, as much as I love her, she is not an Usher or even a Nicki Minaj that has a catalog to sell out 20, 25,000 things. So he was just going off of what, the information Jess was giving him and just searching for it. I know for a fact that he wasn't saying it for hate. He was just trying to figure it out as he was going along, and he just made that assumption. I guess if anything, that maybe Jess should have been a little bit more prepared while saying the story to say, hey, there's tickets that are $24, but that's only for certain venues that are not completely sold out yet because 90% of her shows are sold out. So maybe it's 6 shows that the tickets are not sold out, and before the show closes, but not before the show closes, before the tickets close down, because there's a certain date where you can't buy any more tickets. So we have 5,000 less. Let's just put 5,000 left. Let's just put those ones at $24. I think Jess should have just had a little bit more information. That's all. Anyways, no beef, no shade between Charlamagne and Megan Thee Stallion. Trust me, there's no shade. All right, in our second quick story, big Donald Trump is back in the news. Donald Trump found in contempt of court for the 10th time. The judge threatens jail time if necessary. Y'all really think Donald Trump will ever go to jail, man? I can't see it happening. Anyways, I'll read you the story very quickly. Donald Trump found himself back in court on Monday for his hush money trial, as his hush money trial continues. While in court, the judge cited Trump for the gag order he imposed on the trial. This is the 10th time that he has been found in contempt, resulting in him threatening the former president with time behind bars if necessary, in quotations. According to ABC News, the judge told Trump, "It appears that the $1,000 fines are not serving as a deterrent. The last thing I want to do is put you in jail. You are the former president of the United States and possibly the next president as well. There are many reasons why incarceration is truly the last resort for you." Wow, I can't believe they're actually taking that into consideration. I don't really think that that's fair. Wow. Anyways, we'll discuss that at a later time. The order against Trump prevents him from discussing the jury and witnesses with the intent to influence their decision or testimony. On Monday, the judge ruled that the comments Trump made in an interview last month violated the gag order. He commented that the jury was picked so fast and was 95% Democrats. This is not the first time that Donnie has been threatened with jail time during the trial. Yo, I really don't think that that's fair, because if I were on trial or if you were on trial, it wouldn't matter what our past or future job was. The law should be in effect for everybody. So if the judge is saying, "Hey, when I find you in contempt of court, your fine is $1,000, but because you were the past president and you could be the next president, then I'm not going to put you in jail." No, there should be a precedent of how many gag orders that you could violate before you get put in jail. And I don't care if he was the past president, the present president, or the future president. You should go to jail if you are in contempt of court over a certain amount of times. That's really unfair, man. Not like Donnie or not or whatever. This is just the law. I don't like when the law is upheld differently for different people in different stature. I just personally think that that's fair. Let me know what you guys think. All right, in our third quick story, Joe Budden says he's over the Kendrick and Drake beef. He said this ish is exhausting. There is too much going on. All right, I have a little clip. Take a listen.
I'm over it.
How are you over
it? She's exhausting. I'm done. I'm in bed.
All right, Joe has a right to his own opinion. That's also too because the person that he is going for, Kendrick Lamar, is up. So that's why he's like, yeah, this could be over. We're done. I've proven my point. So I wanted to put this in here because I wanted to propose a question to you guys. What do you guys think? Are you done with the beef? Do you think it's gone too far? Do you think it just was too much? Do you think it was just perfect and it should just end now before it starts getting to being too much? Let me know. That was ABC. If I didn't even think of one, let me know. I definitely do want to hear from you guys. Every day this week, there's going to be some little story that's going to be continuing. The blogs do like to get, as many hits and legs and forward. So I'm sure it's going to be in the news for the next week. But I want to know what you guys think. Do you guys think that they should end it? Do you think that we should still keep talking about it? For me personally, I do think especially the weekend was very exhausting, especially me for a content creator, somebody who's covering it. There was 5 songs back to back. You couldn't even keep up. I was watching Academics and one of Kendrick's boys was on his DJ Head. And he was like, although I disagreed with a lot of what he said, I did agree with this when he said, we're not even going to understand the effects of this till a couple of weeks or even a couple of months after, and then we're going to be able to digest that. I said the same thing yesterday where it's I think Drake's move of manipulating Kendrick and putting in a mole, I already think that it's dope, but I think it's not going to really sink in till after, 2, 3, 4 months when we, there are some people who don't believe it, but when we find out Drake actually really doesn't have a daughter, or, Drake is giving us proof, or Drake's next album, it's 6 months from now, we're going to appreciate it. So my point to that is that if it keeps continuing, it just dilutes and then we don't ever get to digest it. So it's kind of like eating, right? Where it's yeah, we're stuffed. It doesn't mean that we want it completely to be over. I just think it can calm down for now because I do like the drama. I do like the beef of it 100%. But I'm full and I would just like to digest I would like to take my time and be like, wow, that was a good meal. And then maybe have some dessert. You know what I'm saying? I just felt like we were like force fed, appetizers, salad, dinner, more dinner. Oh, and here's a little extra, and here's some bread, and you know what I mean? Like and here's some water, and I just felt like we were force fed, especially this weekend. So I think that's what Joe's probably alluding to, and not realizing like how great of a beef it was. So yeah, I just think that they should, my personal opinion, calm down for now. I know Kendrick's dropping an album soon. Drake, is probably going to drop sometime this year. Let's just go back and forth with albums. And I just think the back and forth every 24 hours, that I could do without. But like I said, I put this in here for you guys. Send me an email, trentoutloud@cfqr600.com. Comment underneath this video or send me a DM. Let me know what you think. Like I said, A, B, and C. Was it a good battle and you want to continue? Was it a good battle? You want it to be over? Or, this is too much. This is ruining it. Stop. Let me know what you guys think. All right, this brings us to speed news. Ring my bell. JT lands her first Billboard Hot 100 solo entry with her song Okay. I actually didn't hear this till yesterday. It was actually pretty good. JT was beefing with Sukihana. Again, that's the stimulus package to get your music out right now, is start a beef with somebody while you're releasing a song. People are going to go listen to the song because they want to hear about the beef. So apparently JT said something that was very open-ended and could have been directed at Cardi B or at Suki. Suki was like, yo, tell us who you're talking about. JT didn't answer. So then Suki was like, I think it was me. And then she kind of went at her. I'm sure this did help in the promotion of the song. Okay. But congratulations to JT, part of the City Girls. She had her first Billboard Hot 100 solo entry with Okay. So shout out to JT. It landed at number 74. So shout out to JT. All right, in our second speed story, French Montana goes to visit Max B in jail. This is like, I wouldn't say old school hip hop, but this is like 10 years ago. Max B was like on hooks. For those of you who don't know, Max B is in jail for I think like 70 something years. But Max B was actually, I think, a little bit more popular than even French at one time. But yeah, about 10, 15 years ago, Max B was popping. So it's nice to see that, French is there taking care of his boy. And then Max B said, bro came through and dropped off a bag. All the female correctional officers put their lip gloss when they saw you and wanted a taste. Cocaine, Wave 4, Loyalty 2025, Hip Hop Savior. I don't know, 2025, maybe that's when he's coming out. But it's nice to see that Max B is doing well. And nice to see that French Montana is still taking care of his boy while he's incarcerated. So shout out to French. All right, in our third speed story, Plies says the country would be in better shape if people cared about the erection. If people cared about the election like rap beef. He tweeted this. He said, if we can care about the election like we did this rap beef, we would be good. We would be in good shape. Look, people say this all the time where it's like, yo, if we cared about this, like how we cared about that, then it's like, if we cared about this, like we cared about the war. And yes, I get it. But at the same time, I think people like the rap beef, and I think people like just people feuding, or people like reality TV because they need to escape the realities of the world. You know what I mean? So you're not. And also, too, a lot of people that care about this rap beef are in the younger generation, right? So, you can't expect like 18, 19, and 20-year-olds to be so, so caught up in what's going on in the election. Like, nobody in history at 17, 18, 19 was really caring about that. But I just think overall that everybody's so invested in these things, like in Hollywood or in movies or whatever. It's because daily they have to think about I'm talking about adults now, but daily they have to think about their mortgage. They got to think about kids. They got to think about their work. They got to think about interest. They got to think about inflation. They got to think about voting. They got to think about that. So when something like this comes around, that's why most of these artists drop on the weekend. It's like, it's our escape from the realities of the world. So I understand what Plies is saying, but just the bigger conversation is that's why people, especially adults that are so caught up that they have to deal with in the world, they like to come home and just kind of like unplug and, talk about stupid stuff. Oops, I almost swore on the radio. Talk about stupid stuff like Kendrick and Drake beefing. You know what I mean? So yeah, just take it with a grain of salt. All right, in our fourth speed story, the game seemingly throws shade at Rick Ross. He put this in his stories. He said, "It's quiet today. Wingstop must be closed on Mondays." And then he also said in his stories, he goes, "It be the fat N-words with skinny legs always running they mouth." I don't know where this comes from. Rick Ross has only been talking about 50 Cent. Game and 50 Cent, I don't think their beef is still continuing, but they're not best friends. So I don't think Game is actually trying to defend Ross. I don't know. Maybe Ross said something. I don't know, man. I have overload keeping up with Kendrick and Drake. I don't know what this is about. If anybody knows, please comment below so you can tell anybody else who's watching this what's going on. I don't know where this beef stems from, but actually it would be kind of funny to see Game and Ross beef because, Game, Game could go in. You know what I mean? Like from Game was battling with 50. If you've ever battled with 50 Cent, you're battle tested. I know both of them did battle with 50, but I would think that Game probably came out on top if I had to put. Well, actually, Ross kind of did his thing too. I think 50 beat both of them, but they both kind of like held their own. Anyways, enough beef, man. Game and Ross are beefing. If you guys want to know more about it, Google it. All right, in our fifth and final speed story, Ruby Rose and Druski lock lips on a boat. All right, if you guys have been following this podcast, I have been reporting every time Druski and Ruby Rose pops out. And everybody was, including me, was like, I don't really believe this. Druski's whole MO is trolling and making, these funny videos. So they have been putting this stuff out like, oh, he gave me roses. And I was one like, okay, this is a troll. I don't think it's true. So now they posted a video of themselves on a boat. And I was like, I'm not going to believe it until I see them kissing. Because if it's really true and they're not trolling, like they should be kissing or being more affectionate instead of just like being in a picture together, but like 2 feet apart. And I think probably they just heard like what myself and other content creators are saying. Because like this kiss doesn't seem like a kiss that you would give like your girl or somebody. Like it seems like it's a kiss to prove a point. Like they kiss. I'm going to put the video on my YouTube channel. They kiss once and then they kiss twice and then she pulls away and then he pulls her face back and it's like gives her another kiss and then sticks his tongue like on her tongue to be like, yeah, I'm telling you, this is my girl. Like it just seems like he's doing it to prove a point. But anyways, whatever. If they are together, all the more power. I was not even trying to hate on Druski. All the more power. I just still don't believe it. And at this point, I don't know what is going to make me believe it because now they are kissing. Like what else do you want to see them do? But anyways, we'll see. I think now you're just gonna have to wait for time to tell. But if I have to predict, you're gonna hear in a month or two like, oh, they broke up and it's like, oh, we're always gonna be friends, and it was like the troll of 2024. That's just what I think. All right, this brings us to question of the day. What's your favorite way to unwind after a long weekend? Okay, I know we didn't have a long weekend technically in the sense of 3 days off, but everybody had a long weekend because of that Drake and Kendrick battle. And like, I feel like everybody was exhausted. So I figured it would be a good question. Somebody said, same thing I do every day. Stay at the crib and relax. Somebody said, sit on my couch and catch up on my shows. I love doing that. That's the best. Silence, being alone, peace and quiet. Somebody put a wine glass being poured in. Somebody said, Bama Bilia said, well, since I work from home, I transitioned to the living room. That's hilarious. I do that too. I do that too. Stay focused 82 said, my patio, glass of wine, and some soft jazz music. The greatest Versace. What a weird screen name. Said, Alexa, play Mary Jane by Rick James. Somebody said, stay at home, relax, and watch TV. Blaze 82. Well, with a name like Blaze 82, you know what's coming. Smoke, eat, sleep, and repeat. Blaze 82. All right, I'll read two more. The ex-boy gangster 2 said, a long conversation with God as I'm driving home. Mac Wave 24 said, avoiding humans. And the last one here that I'll read is resting with my feet in lavender oil and Epsom salt with a nice cosmopolitan or mojito, listening to some old school hip hop and R&B. Well, you should tune in to CFQR weekdays from 11 to 12. I play the best hip hop and R&B. Anyways, I wanted to also put that out to you guys because, I feel like most people are using their weekends not so much to party and club anymore, but to really just stay home, relax, and chill. I actually really thought I was the only one. Back in the day, I used to love being like, it's the weekend, it's Friday, like I must go out. I must be at a club. I must be partying. There must be something going on. And lately, for the past couple of months, I like Friday comes and I'm like, yes, perfect. I can't wait to do nothing. And I mean, like if somebody calls me to go out, I more look at it as like work almost, where I'm like, I actually don't want to get up off the couch. I don't want to have to go out somewhere. And I'm happy just chilling by myself. Like I said, just catching up on shows. I don't need wine. I don't need a drink. I don't need smoke. I don't need to do anything. I'm just chilling. And I just like the peace and quiet and tranquilness. I think another thing, this is really just getting personal, but another thing too is that I worked for myself with Extra City, having a retail store for 15 years. So weekends really didn't mean much to me, especially with a sneaker boutique. Our biggest days were Saturday. So I had, we had releases almost like every other Saturday in the height of sneaker culture. So for me, weekends never meant anything. So, and again, if any of you are entrepreneurs, like you kind of work 7 days a week and you're kind of on and off, right? So now doing like this podcast, a daily podcast, Monday to Friday, where I'm like, I only have to work like the 5 days, and I work so much during the 5 days that the weekends come and I'm like exhausted. And now I understand weekends. Like I understand why the working person from Monday to Friday needs weekends so much, because you do so much packed in those 5 days. Whereas me, I always just work throughout the 7 days. So weekends didn't mean much. I don't know if I'm explaining myself right, but anybody who went from, being an entrepreneur or working 7 days where every day was almost kind of like the same, and maybe during the week was a little bit more quiet, or somebody that works in retail and their weekends are busy, the weekends really didn't mean anything, where I kind of switched my business life, and now I'm very busy Monday to Friday, and weekends I have nothing at all to do and I can just unplug. Woo! It's really nice to unplug. I don't know why I shared all that with you guys, but hey, I had to answer the question and let you all know what I do on the weekends. Absolutely nothing, and I'm loving it. All right, this brings us to sports news. All right, we have to talk about last night's NBA games, the New York Knicks against the Pacers and Denver against Dallas. First, let's start out with the Knicks game. Super good game. I only caught it after halftime, but I was watching First Take Monday morning, and they were like, it's going to be such a good series. Everyone is predicting like it's going to go down to the wire. I think Shannon Sharp was like 7 games, and Stephen A. Smith said 6 games. I didn't follow Pacers that much, so I was kind of more just going for the Knicks. But shout out to the Pacers. They look dope, man. Like Siakam, my boy from Toronto, is out there. But no, Pacers look really dope. I haven't been following the season, so it looks like we're going to have a really good series. It was a great game. The ending kind of didn't live up to the rest. I mean, it was tied, I think, 6 minutes into the fourth quarter, and they were going back and forth. And I like when games end with players making baskets, and it ended off with like a penalty. I think it was like a moving screen, which I wish they didn't call, because before that, it was like Bronson just going down and just hitting twos, and then he passed it to that DiVincenzo, and he hit a 3, and it was like, like they're making points, you know what I mean, and like scoring buckets. And then there was a moving screen, so then Pacers got an offensive foul. Knicks had to get the ball back. Then it was like an out of bounds. So anyways, it was just the refs had to get in, and it kind of just slowed the game down. Knicks ended up winning. I would have just liked to have seen the game end on the referees not getting so involved. I know if there's a penalty, they do have to call it, but it was a great game. It just didn't end as amazing as I thought it would because of the penalties and the calls and all of that stuff. I just wish the refs would let them play a little bit more, but great game. It's going to be a great series. And shout out to, I'm going for the Knicks. We still have a Raptor on the Knicks too. Anunoby's there. So, right. So, I mean, Toronto is out. I don't know when they'll be back in the playoffs. So we have to go for players that are on other teams. And of course, we're just an hour away from New York. So, the state of New York, not the city, but yeah. So I'm going for the Knicks. All right. So that was Knicks and Pacers. Now let's talk about Denver and Minnesota. My boy Ant-Man. All right. Well, the game was horrible. I don't even know if Denver ever led once. At the half, I think they were down 30. It was just a waste. I hate seeing in a playoff game where, you got to take your players off and it doesn't go down to the end. It's nothing really that much to talk about. It was boring. Ant-Man didn't even have to really overperform. There's nothing really to talk about that game. I guess the only thing now is I think at the end of the game, they were chanting Wolves in 4. They were chanting in Denver. Also, too, I think, so yes, they're predicting a sweep because, you're beating Denver at home twice in a row. I think I heard on Inside the NBA that this might be the first time in history, or maybe one other time it happened, that the defending champs lost the 2 games at home the next season after winning the championships. I guess unheard of. You beat the champions 2 games in a row and in the second round in the playoffs. It's just horrible. What is going on with big bad Denver? Where's Joker and all of this? I don't know what's going on. Anyways, there is also one little thing that Kendrick Perkins put out. I didn't see this till Perk tweeted this, but he said it's going to be interesting. It's going to be interesting how the Nuggets are going to look in Game 3 without Murray, because he's most likely going to get suspended for throwing the heat pack. I don't have a video of it, but there's pictures. I'll put it up on my YouTube page where you see Jamal Murray with the heat pack in his hand, and then you're assuming that he's throwing it, and then you see it on the court. So I don't know. They're not really talking about this, but I see it online. They're not talking about it on TV, but apparently I don't know why Jamal got put on the bench. I don't know. Maybe he didn't get a good call. I don't know the technicalities of it, but it looks like Jamal Murray might be suspended for Game 3, according to Kendrick Perkins. So if Murray is on the bench, it's a total wrap. They're going to get swept. So we'll see what happens. I think the game is on Friday, so we'll tune in and see what happens then. All right, that's it for me. I had a good show. Well, I thought I had a good show. You guys let me know if it was a good show. But thank you for tuning in. Thanks for kicking it with me. A little bit of homework. Please check me out on CFQR. If you're used to watching this on YouTube or podcast platforms, please check me out on CFQR600.com. Weekdays from Monday to Friday from 11 to 12. We play the Trent Out Loud podcast while mixing it in with hip-hop and R&B, 90s and 2000s. It's a dope show. A great way to kind of break up your day, get some vibe in, also get some talk and find out what's going on in entertainment news. And vice versa, if you're used to listening to this podcast at work or at home or whatever, and any of your devices from 11 to 12, and you can always catch it from 11 to 12, you can always catch the podcast on demand at any time on YouTube or on podcast platforms. Just type in Trent Out Loud. The show will pop up. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button so you can get notifications anytime we upload new shows. And we also, as you know, we upload daily. All right, that's it. I will see you guys tomorrow. Have a good Tuesday night. I'm out. Peace. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. It's your boy, Trent Out Loud. Peace.